listening to my logic. I have two amazing guests today, and guess what? They're married.
Yes, we're married.
You know what? That's the excitement level of married people.
We're excited. I was just waiting to be properly introduced. I didn't know if you wanted me to speak on my
let
marriage
me let
before
you introduce yourself.
you introduced us. So that's why I was
What's
silent.
your introduction?
Hi, you guys. My name is Tanjareen Thomas from Inglewood, California. Actress, comedian, producer, content creator, editor, graphic artist, host.
From
sober,
LA.
Sober vegetarian and fundraiser.
Vegetarian.
Yes, sober
You know what?
vegetarian.
What does the sober part mean?
I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't even do weed, even though we're in California. I'm just high off of my own life.
That's the best life. And that's crazy because you're from California and have you ever smoked weed or you just choose
I
not to?
tried it and I must have done it wrong because I didn't get high. So I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not addicted and I didn't need to do it again. I've tried a couple edibles and I was high for like a whole weekend each time I did it, but it's nothing that makes me want to do it over and over again. I've probably done it like 3 times in my whole life.
Yeah, I touched in it, but I don't have to do it. I don't believe people that smoke weed every day. It's just too much. And I don't want to date you.
You heard that, folks? She don't want to date you.
Okay, it's funny because me and you were having a conversation and you said that you're from LA.
Yes.
And that you watch a lot of people come into LA.
Yes, because you were giving me props and you said I had a lot of credits. And I said that's because I have a head start. I've been hustling for a long time because I'm from here. So I got a head start from people like you two who are transplants.
Yeah, we can fish out of water.
Yes. Yeah. But I've also seen a lot of people come from somewhere else, and when they realize after a year or two that getting in this industry is not easy, they start to do real estate or teach.
It does seem like real estate is the number one go-to. Hey, you know what, Daphnique? Congratulations on you, Clayton and Tangerine doing y'all skits, but I think I'm gonna just go ahead and get my real estate license.
Right.
Don't that feel like, haven't you had this conversation with somebody? And another one is, I'm gonna start selling insurance. What type of insurance? Insurance? What type of? Car insurance? No, just insurance. Also, just not insurance with no plan.
And it's not easy. So if you're gonna sell a house or sell insurance, you might as well sell your skills because it's the same amount of energy that goes into it.
Don't tell them the secrets.
Oh, my bad. Never mind. Stay home. Stay in bumfuck Idaho. We got enough actors out here.
And do real estate because that's your calling. God spoke through me to you. Real estate is your calling.
Hilarious.
And we got your husband, Mr. Clayton Thomas.
Well, hello.
We started around the same time, didn't we, Clayton?
We got that. When did you get to LA?
I got to LA Christmas Day 2009.
Okay, so I got out here June of 07. I had been doing comedy 2 years already, but I was still so new to the game, LA especially. It was so this is such a race of trying to find what you're going to get into as far as how you're going to get your opportunity, and you never really know until it happens. Like, it's such a marathon race.
Yeah, so Clayton, that's crazy because it is. And I feel like when I started in LA, but did you feel like when you came to LA, you had to start over?
Yes.
Even though you had been doing comedy for 2.5 years?
Yes, it felt like that because nobody knew me except the people who knew me. I was able to get a slight jump start over being brand new because of the people that I met beforehand, able to get me on big stages in LA. And then it was like, okay, well, this guy's funny. We're not going to put him at the back of the line, but we keep him down there somewhere. You in line.
You're in the line.
So you make amazing content,
Thank
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
Thank you.
You're
I
a
would not
creator.
have known about how to capitalize off of my content on Facebook had it not been for you. So thank you very much for that.
I mean, you're welcome. I educate every day.
You do. That is very rare. A lot of people do not share information, and you've always shared how to succeed.
Yeah, she's very selfless.
Yeah, and I'm amazing.
You are.
I'm just teasing y'all. Okay, but I am. Clayton, you starting your own comedy tour. You were in Tangerine, right? Own comedy tour.
I'm starting
What's the name of the tour?
The fan base tour is what I wanted to call it because this is the opportunity for me to get a chance to meet a lot of the fan base that I have in different cities that I'm big in. And the first city was New York. Oh, it was so amazing to meet the people that are commenting to you on a regular basis and to take pictures and just to feel that positive energy is amazing. And it blew my mind to hear the stories.
That's amazing. Like this, it's like really we're able to do for ourselves and set up a career for ourselves that like The greats had to do with like In Living Color, SNL, Mad TV. It's like it had to be a whole team. You had to get network approval, producers, writers, directors, and we're really technically all of that in one.
There's so much more responsibility and so many more things that we're doing on our own that they did not. So you see the differences in generations. So where they're not, a lot of them aren't willing to do anything internet or anything promoting themselves because they came up in a time where they were promoted or companies did the work to help them grow. Nobody's helping us grow but
we're
us.
a whole company. Really, we're like the studio, the agent, the manager. Even though we have all of those things, we're the editors, we're the writers, the creators, the bookers, the casting directors. Isn't
Location scout, graphic designer, we do it all. We have the audio
because you gotta do your graphic designs with your thumbnails and everything. Like it's crazy that it's the power of a cell phone nowadays. We can do all of this with a cell phone.
Way better than 09. Woo, 09. What do we still have? Do we even have video phone
You
yet?
couldn't even do that with the sidekick. Remember the sidekick? You just text people and get them together. But that's if they had a cell phone. Or you had to maybe call the house phone and leave a message.
The first sketch that I ever shot with Clayton Thomas when we were dating was a sketch of his. And what did you shoot that on? It was 2008.
I shot that on
2008?
Yeah, my first sketch.
Sketches in 08?
That was his very first sketch.
I shot my first sketch in 2008. It was on some small camera that took a mini DV. And I edited in my iMovie on my laptop. I bought the camera, the tripod. I didn't have no lights. I didn't even think to buy lights.
It was so dark.
It was so dark and gritty. But it was a professional shoot. I was very professional. I had Tange with the idea. We did it. I edited, dropped it that day. And it was, I kept doing sketches until maybe 09. And I didn't see any progress because I didn't know how to go about it. And I just stopped and focused on acting and stand-up until about 2017. And then came back, Jahan Jones was like, hey, you should shoot with me. And I'm like, I don't understand this. And then he showed me, as soon as I got on set, I was like, oh, this is what I was doing back in 08, except this is way quicker. And I just started doing it and I just hadn't stopped.
That's crazy because I started doing sketches in 2017 too. But what people don't know is me and D-Lay, whole little team on the thing, we actually used to shoot sketches, I would say 2012. You guys remember Vine?
Of
we used to do
course.
Vine. Back in the day, I used to Vine with Simone and Donovan, the same people I've shot with over the years. D-Lay. We used to shoot sketches. Nika be in a lot of our sketches. We used to all sketch. I remember we used to try to get it together. But the thing about some of the other people is they kind of, the King Batches and everything, they kind of stuck with the Vine thing. I didn't think Vine was going nowhere. I didn't think the internet was going to be that big. I was like, these people, it's cool. But people don't understand. It's actually easier for us to shoot a 3 to 7 minute sketch and light it and do everything that we need to do than it was to do a 6-second sketch back in the day.
Absolutely.
6-second sketches, if you didn't get it right to get everybody the motion within the 6 seconds, you had to start over.
And wasn't it 3 seconds before? Wasn't it 3?
I never was around the 3.
No, I
was only around
always,
the 6. I think it started at 6.
Yes.
Okay, I just know it was so short, and you're right. It was
it was so hard. BT, Doughboy, we used to all do these little 6-minute sketches. Iva LaShawn, we used
Paige
to be
Kennedy,
in there.
I did some with him.
Yeah, it was like we was out here trying to figure it out, and it's crazy to see a lot of those people go on to become millionaires off of just sticking with it. But I didn't think it was going anywhere, so I came into the game in 2017. But hey,
the million is still a million now compared to then. It's better now. To make the million. So you're on the right track.
On the right track. So, okay, today's topic, we're going to get into today's topic on My Logic. Today's topic is a toxic mother has just as much as effect. Today on My Logic, we're going to get into the topic today is a toxic mother has just as much effect as an absentee father. A mother that is that you're around every single day that is toxic has the same effect as an absentee father, someone that's not there. Because we all know people who didn't grow up with their father. I mean, we were all fortunate enough to grow up with our fathers. But we know people that didn't and the effects that it had on them.
Yeah. They're on the pole.
We cannot say that they are on the
Hey,
pole.
Cardi B had both her parents.
Some of my friends that didn't have their dad, they were on the pole for sure. Some of them went to Vegas to make some money real quick on their backs. I mean, not all of them, but a couple of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And I think that
No
a toxic
guidance.
mom, it's the same difference. It hardens you to that nurturing or that attention or that financial support, whatever you get from your parents. If one of them is missing one of those areas, it definitely hardens you. It makes you more independent. It makes you a hustler in a different way. You may be colder to other people. I don't know. And I don't want to generalize. Obviously, there are some amazing people who were raised with a toxic mom or an absentee dad. But I just know that.
And they were able to make it through.
Yeah, and of course. But I think it makes you stronger. That's my point. It's like it makes you stronger because you got to figure it out more so than being coddled by the two parents, in that nuclear home that we grew up looking at in the books.
Yeah, but then I would also say, first of all, let's describe and define what is a toxic mother. What would you say a toxic mother is to you?
One
What's your
who
definition?
doesn't come and support you in your school events. Maybe she's on drugs. Maybe she cares about her boyfriends more than you.
Children,
so
yeah.
she's running different dudes in and out the house, and she's not making sure you have the proper nutrients to eat. She's just on her own hustle. Maybe everything in the world is more important to her than raising
Leaving you with the grandparents
Yeah,
all the time,
mommy
or
be back
family
over and over
members,
again. Yeah.
because she rather club and have a good time and live
Exactly.
her life. When
Exactly.
she forgot she created a whole little life that looked just like her,
Right.
and that's gonna be on the post.
She's stealing your weed. Y'all arguing over, whose bag of drugs this is. Like all of that.
That's toxic. That's a good
That's
definition.
toxic.
What's your
Yes.
definition of toxic mother?
My definition of a toxic mother is someone who would feed you wrongly, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually. Somebody that is feeding you garbage and making you believe these things. The only reason that this is happening is because you're doing this, or the only reason that that's going to happen is because your daddy that, or your whole life like
And
putting
you ain't
down.
shit, just putting you down.
Yeah, and
Or
that
tell you
is-
you don't trust nobody because you know you ain't gonna never find real love
Because
you
they
ain't
their
worth
whole
it. That's-
life was never successful.
Yeah, good point,
Yeah,
bro.
those are all very big impacts to have on a growing child, boy or girl, and these are things that they take into their lives. So when you see people in unhealthy relationships, or you see people, and that becomes in love relationships or friendships or anything, work relationships, I tend to find that when I deal with someone and they can't admit that they're wrong on anything, I'm like, this is toxic. Doesn't even matter if this is a toxic mother or the father wasn't around. If somebody had that impact on them and they can't admit it, I'm like, you've been going through your life with this, which means that this has been accepted and okay. I didn't grow up in a house where that stuff was acceptable. So I was always let me check myself because I know I'm wrong. I have no problem ever admitting that I'm wrong. I've always had a
Because
problem.
everybody makes mistakes. And
Yeah.
I think that when you don't admit that you're wrong or that you do things wrong, it's a sign of like mental issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's if you can't hold accountability,
Mm.
and another thing I noticed, people who have no empathy.
Ooh.
If you don't have feelings towards something, or you can't, if I say, hey Tangerine, when you do such and such to me, it makes me feel this way, and you like,
I don't give a fuck.
I don't care
That's
about
your
your
problem.
feelings. You see, that's your problem. You too emotional. You have no empathy. People like that are dangerous as well.
Very. Because those are the people that will take you down and have no problem and think that, that's just going to happen. And you're like, you don't think anything's going to happen to you because you did that? No, I didn't do anything wrong. You're like,
Yeah.
I can't believe
No
I'm having a
accountability.
conversation. No accountability. I've seen so many people like that, and I try
There's
my
so
hardest
many
to stay
people
away.
in LA like that. Have
Yeah.
you noticed that? I've never been around so many toxic people who don't accept responsibility and accountability for their actions and their wrongdoing. I know that I got ways about me, but I know, and I try to work on them, but sometimes environment and how you grew up and things, sometimes when you get in a moment, you don't channel that. Hey, but if you sit down and talk to me after it's over and be like, hey, yo, this is going on, and this is what needs to happen, then I'm like, all right, cool, I understand.
Yeah, because you're reasonable. You're logical, if we may plug the name of the show. And just to go back to you saying people in LA are like that, being someone from here, I always have to defend my city because us being in the industry, most of the people we meet are transplants. Most of the people that we deal with that may be fake or phony or can't accept accountability for things that they've done wrong. A lot of them may be from somewhere else and they're out here with their guards up thinking that they have to be a certain way to make it. And so
people from Hollywood are different than people in LA. LA people that are from here, I met some dope LA people, but it's always the people who move here that's like, oh yeah, this person is Hollywood. You like,
Because I feel like a lot of people who channel the arts can be crazy as shit.
Facts.
I can be a comedian. I can be an actor. They come from some goddamn trauma.
I think that makes them more brilliant, though. I think the most brilliant people that we have entertaining us
Artists,
have
drug
some
addictions,
deep, dark
crazy
problems with their family, with their own mental health, with parental neglect. Like I think that all builds those layers that we love to see either on the stage in comedy or then performing the
my parents
dramatic work. Your crazy videos are changing your life, but it's coming from something that's happened to you that makes you be that good at being crazy. I'm not saying you're crazy, but you can tap into something that helps you be crazy.
I've always wanted to know because I know
good at it.
I know your extent of certain energies, but I know that hasn't been real life for you. So who did you see growing up where you were like, oh, she's crazy?
Right. What are you tapping into, bro?
What did you see as a kid?
It's crazy because I didn't see that kind of stuff as a child.
Really?
Absolutely not. I did not see anyone acting crazy or being absurd and unreasonable. It's just something I just tapped into.
That's amazing. That's amazing because you're really good at it. And people are often asking me on my page when I post videos with us, like, is she crazy in real life? Is she so good at playing crazy?
Do you guys think I'm crazy?
No, I think you're really good at playing crazy. So I'm like, she must have had something happen to her.
Deep down inside, if it was a purge, would I have a list of people I would kill? Absolutely.
Oh,
I channel that. Yeah.
Shoot.
I'm willing to admit that it's people I want dead.
Am I?
You know what? We just talked about this.
Okay,
but
cool.
I don't think nothing wrong with that.
We just talked about this
and I think for people that don't admit that is they're unreasonable and crazy.
I don't have anybody that I want to kill. If there was a real purge, we were just talking about
I want dead.
that we would just go out of town.
I feel like I'll make the world a better place.
See, you really want to kill people. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
But I have enough empathy and accountability not to actually do what my heart desires.
That's great.
I need your heart not to desire people dead, Daphne. That is hilarious.
That is great. I'm just glad I'm not on the list.
Did she really?
I'm not on it.
Y'all not on the list.
Okay.
Y'all not on the list.
Because you don't
like a couple people on the list.
In the movie, they don't really tell you until it's the purge day.
Yeah.
Then you find
You're
out.
on that list. Purge.
Y'all be safe in the same house thinking, oh, we're going to celebrate here some wine. We're going to wait this out and then.
Like Tangerine, you got the...
I'm on Tangerine's list. I'm making sure I'm out of the country the minute that happens.
You think she got you?
I know I won't. I'm the only person she interacts with. Like, you have to think about marriage and relationships like that. She sees me more than she sees anybody on the planet. I'm the one who pushes her buttons. I'm the one that makes her happy. I'm the one that makes her sad. There's no way I'm not on that list, and I'm not gonna be with her the day of the purge.
Sweetheart, I would never want you dead.
Anybody that smile and say something like that and then go dead behind the eyes, I don't want to be around her on the day of the purge. I ain't did nothing to her, but I feel like I did, so she might come.
You know what they never showed after the purge? I've always wanted to see sequels of the purge where they did the funerals.
That's a lot of people
from the purge.
That's a lot of
hilarious. We should actually do a sketch like that.
It's a long list of names. Like, man, this is gonna be a long day.
Funeral. I mean, you can't even ask that. I mean, would you even have funerals? That's a lot of people dead.
Just cremate everybody?
Yeah.
In one big pot.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
A purge pot.
And everybody say a prayer. Live TV.
But it can't be the people that killed it. It's got to be everybody else.
Okay, so I'm gonna define what is known as a toxic mother. A toxic mother is someone who has constant criticism, controlling behavior, guilt tripping and manipulation, humiliation, invalidation of your emotions, passive aggressive, white people use that term a lot, disrespectful of personal boundaries, one-sided relationship.
Disrespectful personal boundaries. Don't everybody's mama just come in their room without knocking and go, this is my house.
First of all, that list is everybody's black mama.
Yeah,
but
I feel like that list is everybody's mama.
Everybody's mama.
It's just to what extent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
but I think that's part of being a parent. Constant criticism. You need to sit up straight. Do this, do that. Now it's a different types of criticism. You ugly. You stupid. You ain't gonna be shit.
Harsh.
You dumb.
I look like
at you.
Mama.
You look ugly. You know, comb your hair. It's like, bitch, get my hair done instead of smoking cigarettes. Okay, controlling behavior. I think that's another mom characteristic.
Absolutely.
Too. But some parents are controlling into their children's adult life. And I think that's when it really becomes toxic. Because I think this list kind of refers to the characteristics of you as an adult, right? This behavior that's been happening as a child that's in your adulthood that has become normal.
So you're saying your parent was doing all these things your whole life and now you as an adult are doing them as well?
No, your parent continues to do it. But you
even
allow
while
them
you're
to do
grown.
it because you're grown and
Gotcha.
it's normal. It's normal.
So it's the
behavior.
mom on Everybody Loves Raymond
Yeah.
just over to the house talking to his wife in your kind of way. Just
Yeah,
being
that's a
disrespectful.
toxic mother.
Yeah.
It's funny to watch, but it's because we can all relate, but
Right.
it's very toxic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone making you feel insecure, someone putting you down, someone questioning your relationships or causing fights between you and your spouse. That's a very good example of a toxic mother,
Thank you, Daphne.
right?
Yeah.
Because
it was funny, but when you think about it, would you want to live like that?
Yeah, because the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, she was a strong, dark-skinned black Eve was like a strong black woman, but she wasn't like a toxic mother.
Right. We liked her.
But whose mother was like that?
In real life?
Ooh, even Felicia Rashad on the Cosby Show, she was a very positive mother.
Yeah, I don't know no mamas like
She was
that.
positive, but she was
Like
slick with the mouth. Felicia Rashad on Cosby Show. You knew she meant business when she said she didn't have to use force with her words. She would deliver them a certain way, and then you'd be like, "Oh, she means business." You know, and I wouldn't do that. And it's like, "Who? Okay, mom, I'm gonna go." Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it was too perfect though. Her kids
Yeah.
never really made any big mistakes. Nobody was like sneaking no dudes in the house and getting none while everybody was asleep or none of that stuff that
It
really
was a
happens
family
to
show.
teens. Yeah. It was a family show, so she, nobody got their butt spanked or
Right.
anything. It was just all.
I grew up with
glare.
whoopings. You understand?
Yeah,
Oh, for real? I didn't grow up with whoopings.
Now
like that.
let's talk about that. You didn't get whoopings?
that's
No.
why she's crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Now I remember, probably can count on a hand. My parents weren't hitters.
How did you
They
get
didn't.
disciplined?
My mom would do the look, or I was bad.
So, do you think that you should?
But I wasn't bad. I think I've always been
Rebellious.
had like not a rebellious. I always had like a godly spirit,
Mm.
which means like I had limitations on what I would do and had certain respects. But yeah, I could say what I want. I could get into business. I could do all those type of things. If I didn't have my way, I would say stuff. But I wasn't whooped. I remember my mom one time. Well, now my mom one time did hit me with a basketball cart. When you go to the shopping cart. Yeah, so we was at the thing, and I must have said something to her, and she didn't like it. I was in front of the cart, and she hit me with it. And you know that big vein thing right there?
On the back of your ankle?
Yeah, back of your ankle by your heel. It started
Achilles.
bleeding, and I'm like, she bitch trying to take me out.
Is that the only time she hit you though?
I think she
It
threw a
stuck out.
remote one time and missed.
But
She
never
had
a
the name.
hand, never a belt. You never had to go in the backyard and get your own switch off the tree
No,
and get
mama,
spanked
no,
with it.
it wasn't like
No
that.
extension cords, no jump ropes, no
Are
tracks
you the
from
only
the train
child?
track.
My
Man,
mother's
you're
only
blessed.
child.
Okay, so you grew up in a house
But
just by
my
yourself.
mom did. I remember when I was younger, because I was really smart. Like I learned algebra really young, and I learned like math. I was really good at those type of things. And my mother believed that learning comes from the home. You shouldn't send your child to school and they learn everything they should learn in the home.
Right.
But when I didn't want to listen, she did have her little ruler, and I had to do my knuckles like this. She would hit me with the ruler.
Or like Catholic school.
But other than that, it wasn't too much. It wasn't too much. I remember my dad maybe hit me. I think one time he got mad and punched me in my leg. But it was like
you wanted to
it was like it was like more so the thought in my head was like, nigga, did you just hit me? And I think one time he hit me with a belt, but I wasn't really much hitting.
So is that how you would raise your kids if you had any? You wouldn't hit them either? You would just give them a look?
Yeah, my dad was a talker. He'll talk you to death till you damn near fall asleep. He'll talk so damn much, you be like, damn, I would never do it again. So, just shut up.
I would never
That's
do
a
it
funny way to
again.
discipline
But yeah, but they
somebody.
were hitters, and I think I turned out to be a pretty good human being.
You're cool as hell, but you have a smart mouth, so that might be.
Oh yeah,
Well, that's
when I
fun
was
because
younger.
you didn't get popped in the mouth for saying nothing slick.
Nah, I didn't actually.
That's
I used to say, tell my mom, be quiet.
Ooh, no.
I couldn't tell my mama be anything. I remember telling my mama because I got whooped.
And see, I was in the young age, I learned how to like manipulate a little bit too. So if she told me she would do something and then she didn't do it, I wouldn't let her out of not doing what she told me she was gonna do.
Wow.
So if she said, I'm gonna take you to Chuck E. Cheese, but you said you was gonna take me to Chuck E. Cheese. Well, why did you tell me you was gonna take me if you wasn't gonna take me? Why you gonna say? And then if my dad would say, well, he used to say it's possible but highly unlikable. He started using that term with me because I would not let you out of what you said you was gonna do. You said do what you say you're gonna do.
And I'm sure you're still like this to this day, like be a woman or a man of your word.
Yeah.
When they're dealing with
Absolutely.
you. That makes sense.
I will give you that. I am the same way. My mother and my father
But
were
aggression
different.
wasn't used heavy in my household. No.
My dad would say things and not follow up with it. Whereas my mom would say something, even if she got mad, she gave me her word, so she had to do it. So now, as an adult, I always keep my word, but when it comes to people not keeping theirs, instead of taking but you said, I'm more like, all right, I can't deal with this person. They don't have integrity.
Yeah. Integrity is big.
That's one of the things that attracted me to Clayton when we were dating. I noticed that he had integrity. And it was weird because there would be so many guys, guys try to holler at you when you're out in public in the grocery store, driving at a stoplight or whatever, and they ask you out or whatever. I can count a few different times. You're so silly. I can count a few different times where somebody just kept asking to go out. And I'm like, you know what? This is a cool guy. Sure, let's do this on this date. And then they would just stand me up and not call. I wouldn't hear from them. Then a few days later, they text me like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, did you forget that we had plans?
That's called ghosting.
Right, because they got a better option.
Then I think when they
came
come
around.
back, it's called Jesus.
No, not Jesus. That's not what I was thinking. But Clayton was one of those people that was like, I want to see you, and this is the day, and this is the time, and this is how much money I have to spend. It's not, you know what I'm saying? And
it wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a lot
at most $20 if I had that.
But I respected the fact that he was not only did he have integrity, but he was honest about what he was working with. And I was like, you know what? A lot of people be trying to front, and he's keeping it so real, and he's keeping his word. Let me give this guy a shot.
You know what it was? It was a lot of, and that was a great, that was the finale. But every woman I had dated before Tangerine, full on dated, I told them, I'm like, look, I'm on the bus. I have an air mattress. I have roommates.
Not
I don't
the air
have money.
mattress.
Because what do I have
air
to
was
lose?
going out of there.
One girl did pop it. I'm not gonna lie to you. One girl did pop that
He
mattress.
didn't get the
Wasn't me.
joke.
But everybody got the truth because I'm like, look, I can't hide me getting off the bus to meet you at some point. I can't hide me not having the money that you're used to dating guys with. I'm like, I'm gonna have it one day, but I don't have it now. And
Ain't that the truth?
if they weren't interested, they weren't the girl for me.
They getting it. That's another topic. Yeah, but that's true. You do have to be honest with people. But I think that's the thing. People that are growing up in toxic households, they don't know how to be good people.
That's a fact. You do run into the people that because their
But some
upbringing,
people can beat it too.
That's what I
Because
mean.
their upbringing
there's
was
two
so
types.
bad, they're like the opposite.
Exactly.
And they
That's what I was gonna say.
overcompensate for the upbringing being not so good. But also passive aggressive. Let's talk
I
about
hate that. I cannot stand passive aggressive. I cannot. You are an adult. For you not to say how you feel to another adult, like you said, you grew up and you didn't get whoopings. You're an adult. Nobody can whoop you now, even if they wanted to. So you have no reason to passively aggressive pass your feelings off. Say how you feel and go from that point.
Yeah,
No other
I
subject.
feel bad for people who can't speak their mind or just
Yeah.
say what they want, and then they suffer inside, or they go tell another person how they feel about somebody that they have to deal with on a regular basis, instead of just talking to that person and saying, I need you to not do this, or it will make me feel better if you do.
I
Right.
would say the average person is passive aggressive.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, because they've been taught. Kids come out honest. So when you walk around with somebody that's just learning to talk and walk, and they say, "Oh, that guy is fat," or "Oh, Mama, I don't want to do that," like they're very honest when they're children. But then the adults tell them, "No, don't say things like that. Hold that in." So by the time you're an adult, you're taught to be polite. You're taught to not say anything that's going to upset somebody. And I think that's what creates this society of passive people or passive aggressive people.
That's crazy that you say that. And also another thing, I want to go back to humiliation. I was at the spa, the We Spa, It's a spa, and everybody's naked inside the thing.
The weed spa?
The weed, W-I.
Oh, okay.
So it's a
because I thought that's
Korean.
your
It's a Korean spa.
Gotcha.
So it's like the women are on one side, the men are on the other side, and when you're in the separate ones, you walk around nude. What people don't know is children are here too. They're
Oh
welcome.
no.
So sometimes the kids are walking around nude too.
Oh.
It was an Asian lady, and she
Ew.
was in there completely nude, titties long.
Long titty.
Long John
I
titty.
never seen vagina hair so long.
Oh, in the 20.
But she was there with a little girl.
Mm-mm.
Little girl looked to be probably like 8 or 9, and she was chubby. And she walked past the mirror and said, "Look at you, you fat, you fat." And I was like, "Ooh, do you know how psychological and
Ruining her.
traumatizing that is
It is.
for someone to say that to you?" And I didn't have the courage because I guess I was such in shock to tell the little girl, "Hey, you look beautiful," just so she could hear that from
Wait,
somebody.
the adult said it to the child?
Yeah, that she was fat.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And that's humiliation.
Yeah.
And I have a girlfriend who does that to her daughter.
It's not gonna help. It's gonna make her bigger.
Yeah.
That
Look at
reminds
you.
me
You
of-
need to lose weight. We gonna get you running. Just eat it. Not. It's just like, ugh. Don't nobody want to hear that.
Nobody wants to.
But
hear it.
is there a positive way to make sure your child isn't obese? Because obesity
But-
is rampant in America.
But
so,
humility,
right.
in front of others.
Yeah.
If you sit down with your child and say, "Hey, these are some things I think we need to work on so that you are in a healthy weight, in a healthy state between you and that child, as the parent and the child," I think that would be healthy.
I agree.
You shouldn't escape the fact if your child is overweight or obese by just letting it continue because you don't want to shame them. But when you do that behavior in front of other people, it's certain things that if Clayton told you in private, you wouldn't take offense to. But if he just said it in front of me and everyone here, you'd be like, you would feel some type of way. Like, why would you say that? What are you talking about? You wouldn't even accept it because it's in front of other people.
That's a fact. She gets offended at everything, but I definitely understand.
That is so not true. I have
Fact.
really thick skin. I have skin of Teflon. I'm a brown girl growing up in the hood. I've been called so many things growing up, so my skin is super thick.
You know what? And it's just not even toxic mothers. People around you be toxic
Facts.
too. Growing
Yes.
up, kids were toxic towards me.
What did you get?
I was really skinny. I look Ethiopian. I was ugly. I was just got all types of things.
Ethiopian was always our go-to for the skinny because we saw
Yeah.
those
Oh.
commercials in the middle of the night of those kids who were starving with the big
Yeah.
bellies. So that's a
It's
shame.
so
they went to
crazy that
'cause they're
people,
not
how
all
many
like
toxic people are on the internet in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
And then you go to their page, I see people, "Oh, your teeth are big." And then I go to their page, one girl, she had more gaps than a fence. Her teeth look like this.
And she
And
talking
I'm
about
like, you
sugar.
really had the nerve, and they look like they were ate up on the bottom, you know, when they
Ooh.
ate up on the bottom or whatever. And it's just amazing how people just look to just put you down.
But it also is spiritually,
Because they've been put down so much.
spiritually, we always attack what we don't like about ourselves. So that's a perfect example that her teeth were messed up, so she decided to say something about teeth because she's noticing everybody else's teeth because her teeth are bad. We always
Good point.
we always attack something that's inside of us that we're unhappy with. So that makes perfect sense.
Okay, so back to the topic. A toxic mother is just as toxic as an absentee father.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes, especially if that's the person that you're living with. For me, my mother, like I said, my mother has all of those qualities, but I love so many of the way that she dealt with it because they weren't the qualities that went overboard to make me feel unwanted or unloved. They were the qualities that I felt kept me on the straight and narrow and out of trouble. And
Because when you're black in America, it's so many things to distract you.
yeah,
And so many, our lives are constantly at risk, I feel like, in this country.
Every day.
Right?
Yeah.
People hate us just because of the color of our skin. And sometimes our parents, especially when you come from black households, they know this.
right.
Yeah.
So they try to prep you for life in the worst way sometimes.
Absolutely.
And they kind of like, in the household, you're getting hardened, you know, a little
That
bit
makes
because
sense.
they prepping you for the world.
Yeah.
My mother my mother was a social worker when I was a kid. For most of my childhood life, she worked
She done
with
seen some shit.
everything. All these kids that are going through these horror stories with their families are being put out, or they're orphans, or their parents just didn't want them and kicked them out. And she worked in a predominantly white city, and we lived in the suburbs at the time of her job. And she would come home and tell me, "I don't want you to be a statistic. I don't want you to be that kid that has a baby at 13 years old. I don't want you to be in prison by the time you're 15. I don't want you in the system." All of these things that prepared me for how the world would treat me. So the minute, and mind you, I had all white friends at this time. And I'm like, no, mama, they're not like that. And you meet a lot of people that aren't, but then you meet a couple people that are. And I was so prepared that I was never offended. I've never been one of the guys that is a man of color and been called a racial slur and been angry.
I have too.
What I'm saying is, and have been angry because I'm like, oh, I've been prepared for this. I know that's your go-to because that's all you see when you see
And have
me.
you ever noticed people that go to stuff like that are usually the poorest, raggediest,
Always.
piece of
And the
shit.
most unhappy.
And I'm above you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm better than you. That's why you so mad.
Mm-hmm.
Look better. Got more money. Better job. Better looking.
Well.
Smarter.
Yeah.
Shall I go on?
I will give you
I
this,
love
Daphne.
hearing this.
I
Confidence.
will congratulate you, especially for this, because you said you got called skinny a lot as a little girl. You filled out perfectly, and every
And all
man.
the people that was thick in high school, y'all hoes fat,
Yep, they
and
did.
you got stretch marks, and you're
They
ugly
That's
with
how it goes.
acne.
I don't know why acne
She
had to
went to
come
the
in.
bad
But
skin on your ass.
what I'm saying is,
She's looking at her eyelashes.
that happens so much that I see a lot of skinny boys and girls, they get teased, and I'm like, yo, you
Easy
want
fill
this
out.
body. Because
Right.
this body, when you become 30 and 40, you have the perfect size body. Everybody who's big in high school is going to get bigger.
Yeah.
It doesn't get smaller, and if it does, it's only a stage, and it gets bigger again.
That's
So yeah,
Have you ever dealt with toxic people you have a toxic story?
as far as my life,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I had a friend that actually helped drive me directly to comedy. We were hanging at his house, we were in a basement, and these were friends that I hung out with every day, and I was fine making them laugh because these are my friends. And we were watching Comic View one year, the season that Bruce hosted, and they had shot a shot of the audience for a second. And I was like, whoa, like I had a feeling like I was Bruce and I was on stage looking at this like 1,500 people. And I was like, man, I want to do that. And my friend was like, he started laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? He's like, you funny, but you ain't comedian funny. You ain't TV funny. You just funny for us. And it angered me so much that fueled me to get on stage and prove him wrong. And for my 18th birthday, that's exactly what I did. And the rest is history. And every day when I talk to him to this day, he'd be like, man, I don't remember that, man. Bro, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm like, okay, I'll never forget that.
They never forget, but you let the hater be the motivator.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. That reminds me, when I was little, I did theater, free theater in school. I think my first play was age 6, first grade, Hansel and Gretel. And I don't remember what the play succession was, but I was very young, and I had my mom come to one of my plays.
Were you Hansel or Gretel?
I wasn't either. I actually had to be a gingerbread.
I'll let you baby. Keep going with your story. Just want to know the character.
Because the principal's daughter got to be Gretel, and that was my
Don't
first
throw her under the
lesson in
bus.
nepotism. So, because I knew her lines and she didn't, so I'm never going to forget how
Ooh,
upset I
you
was
petty.
about that. But anyway, I was doing
She's
play.
on crack now. And you're an actress.
Yes, I just shot my 8th season of Family Time on Bounce. Check it
Ow.
out. And I mean, I got to hook up to
Could you finish the story?
Hey, man, we talking about a whole lot of stuff here today. So anyways, what was I talking about?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Hansel
So
and Gretel.
my mom came to one of the plays that I had done when I was much younger. And when it was over, she was like, you sure you want to be an actress? You're not very good at it.
Jesus
I always wanted you to be
You
a
know her mother
dentist. I always wanted you to be a dentist or an interior decorator because I feel like you'd be great at that. What I found out later is that she always wanted to be a dentist or an interior decorator. But she told me that I wasn't really good at acting. And at this point, I was like 9 or 10 years old. So I don't know what she wanted from me. And I was just doing free theater. I hadn't taken any professional classes. I had done a couple of after school classes. And I had done these theater plays in Inglewood Park. And so I could have taken that and been hurt and been like, okay, let me start to study teeth and make a living at that. Even though I had read that they have the highest suicide rate because nobody wants to go to the dentist. They only go when they have to, when they're in a lot of pain most of the time. But cut to, I didn't listen to her. I continued to study. I got better. I did more theater. Then I started to be paid to act on commercials and TV. And now I've been in this industry for a long time. If you type me in IMDb, you'll be scrolling for a long time with all my credits. And now my mother doesn't remember saying it. She has no recollection of saying it. Just like that guy didn't remember saying that.
You know what's crazy though? I will, before I ask Daphnique this, I will say that's so messed up because your mother has been nothing but supportive.
She's
of
my
me.
biggest fan now.
She's
And
amazing.
that's why she doesn't remember that she said, you sure you want to be an actress? You're not very good.
I
She
wouldn't
has
even be
no
in the
recollection.
SAG union if it wasn't for Tangerine's mom. Anyway, give
Tell
me
the story
yours.
then.
Oh, well, okay, really quickly. I was up for a role on an ABC show, and they were like, "Hey, you're not union, you're a must join." And they were like, it was costing, I think it cost $1,700 for me to join at the time, and I'm like,
I was $3,000.
No, what I'm saying, it was $1,700 that I had to pay to get in, and then
pay the rest
exactly.
over the course of 3 months.
Thank you. So I was,
gotcha.
So I was like, yo, I ain't got $1,700, and then I was like, man, what am I gonna do? And then Tangerine was talking to her mom, and she was like, well, I'll give it to him, and I was like, yo, I'll give it back to her. Tell her I'll give it back to her. And then I got the job. She gave me the money. I gave it. As soon as that check came, I gave her the check. Like, thank you for believing in me. And, she's just always been showing love since day one. But what is one of your
thank you, mommy,
toxic situations?
I would say when I first moved out here, I was staying with my grandmother. I lived with my grandmother for 6 months. It wasn't my grandmother, it was her husband. And I remember I used to do background work like crazy. When I tell you I was on these sets, girl, every day. And back in the day, you used to work like 12 to 14 hours on set, and then you gotta drive an hour there, you gotta drive an hour home. So I was going for like 16 hours, and I used to come in, and the thing about background work, they send you a check per job. So you could work on the show for 3 days, but they gonna send you a check every single day. So I had checks coming to the house every single day at my grandma's house. See, the thing that was happening with her was that my grandmother told me, I said, hey, grandma, I want to come out there and be an actress. She was like, all right, baby, come. We got an extra room here. My little cousin wasn't staying there no more. And they had a twin size bed, and that was big enough for me. And I just bought a TV and brought that and brought all my stuff and shipped my car here. And my grandma said, you could stay here. So I said, well, do I have to pay you rent? She said, no, baby. But out of respect, I was like, I'll give her at least $100 a week. And then bring food and just buy stuff like, hey, do you need some detergent? Because I was just raised like that. No one should have to ask you. And if I am making money, I should be giving it to her.
Right.
Well, I was giving her the money, and she wasn't telling her husband that I was giving the money. So he saw that I was making money and all this stuff and coming in, and he thought that it wasn't good enough. So a lot of times I would come in late at night. He'll be asleep on the sofa because he was older, and he would fall asleep on the sofa with his head down. And then if he was asleep, I would walk in the room. I'm not gonna wake you up and say hi. And he was like, I'm disrespecting him. I'm not doing this. I'm doing that. I ain't doing shit but hoeing in Hollywood.
Because you're out so late.
First of all, that's a great title.
Because I was leaving hoeing in Hollywood.
Hoeing in Hollywood.
But because I was getting, but he couldn't have realistically thought. I mean, hoes don't get W-2s.
Yeah, they don't get checks.
They don't get W-2.
No.
Hoes don't get checks. They don't have paycheck stubs.
Well,
it's all
if they work
cash
for
and
an
check.
escort company, they do.
Well, I did.
Ain't nobody.
So it was like when he said this, he was like, yeah, you think you're gonna move out here and become an actress? Because my aunt had tried to like do model, and I guess it didn't really work out for her. So
he compared her to you.
And they live out here, so they probably seen a whole lot of people do this and do that. Yes. But fast forward, bitch, I'm on.
Ooh.
And I ain't even on.
Ooh.
But we got the first on.
Is this your grandmother's boyfriend or your grandfather?
My grandmother's ex-husband. So
okay.
So it was just that the fact that she did.
In what area?
We lived in Inglewood.
Okay.
So it was just like so it was just this toxic behavior. And I remember one night he just got mad at me. Because he was like, she didn't speak to me. He made a big deal. He told me I can get my shit and get out. And I was new out here. I'm only 22. And I was like, man, I ain't got nowhere to go. Like, and then my grandma was like, baby, you don't leave. I said, you don't have to leave. And he's just like yelling at me and stuff. And then I told him, I said, you know what? Then I thought about it. I was like, I'm not going anywhere. You can't kick me out. And he said, what? I said, I'm not going anywhere. If you want me to leave, you go down to the courthouse and you serve me an eviction notice. And I have to. So I said, not only that, I said I get mail here. And I said, you're going to have to serve me an eviction notice. I have 30 days to get out. And every single day that I'm here, I'm going to make your life a living hell. And I said, I'll put that on God.
How are you going to make it a living hell?
I don't know. I was going to mess with you. Get up, making noise, just doing whatever so you couldn't sleep, whatever. Because I'm a Scorpio. So if I want to get crazy, toxic,
y'all.
And nasty,
got it.
I will.
Crazy.
He didn't say nothing else to me.
I love it.
I stayed about another month until I saved up some more money and got me a place.
Wow.
And you still tight with your grandma, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he gone, so you good.
Yeah.
What was
but
the
it's
straw
just
that got him
crazy
out?
that people just think, I don't know. I don't really know. I think she moved and he didn't want to move to Vegas. So, but the thing about it is I just realized people will like put you down and not believe in you. Yeah. And then when they see you like ride it through, then they're like, oh, I never said that.
I always believed in you.
Yeah.
And I love one of those
because
memes.
you want to borrow $1,500 right now. That's why.
Yeah, I love those memes that say work so hard that you'll make other people tell you where they met you. You know? Like, well, I know Daphnique a long time, after you're already famous and making all this money or whatever. I met Daphnique back at the Comedy Union in 2006. And, they want to brag about you after you get on, but they don't have your back through that whole journey. They
you know what?
With you when you're
and don't you see the difference in the way people treated you when you first came here versus people treating you now that you have a following and you're doing things?
I see
a total like change.
It's the winner mentality. I've been someone who has been fortunate enough to have several ups and downs. I'm very fortunate for the downs that I've had because those are the times that show you who are your real friends. And because of that, every time I amass some type of success, I know the people that aren't truly for me because they're only there for the wins. But the losses, the people that came to pick me up when my name was mud, are the real friends. You know what I mean? So those people are very good to have either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can learn from both. You can definitely learn from both. And it depends what you do with that information because there are some people who will notice the people who weren't there for them and still bless them. Because you don't want to have that hate on your heart.
No, I'm helping everybody I can.
See, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in having is hate on your heart. When people are toxic and they have that type of behavior, I'm totally away from it. I'm done with it.
You're good at cutting people off.
I'm very good at cutting people off. But see, and that's something that comes from my childhood is because I grew up and we moved a lot. So it was like when we moved a lot from city to city to city to city, it was easy after a while to just be like, oh, we moving again? All right, cool. And you transition and you make new friends and you restart life over in the city that you're in. So in my life, if I see any example of something, I am to the point now where I will talk to you about it. Like I had somebody come and visit me recently. This girl, I knew her from high school, but we weren't friends. And she told me that she wanted to chase her dream. And you guys know I'm all willing for helping people, especially when people want to chase their dreams. If I can help you and aid you in any type of way, and I'm very big on knowledge because knowledge is power. Sometimes you just need the knowledge. I'm not going to pay your rent. I'm not going to do all of that for you. But I'm going to set you up to where you mentally can go into something to make money or to move a certain way and to just be able to cope. And when she came out here, it's like people don't understand. My life is very, 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 very busy. If it ain't from editing, shooting, to auditions, to stand-up comedy, to traveling, to writing. I have a script right now I gotta write. I have the working on my pilot, to pitching, to all these things that I have going on. And for me to say, okay, I'm gonna put things on hold for the 3 or 4 days that you're gonna be in town, right?
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. I don't think people know how busy I am. People don't understand. You don't respond to messages. I don't have the time. I wish I did. Could respond to every single person, and then I noticed too, it's always another response, and people want more responses. You're never okay with the one response.
You say thank you.
So it's kind of
then
hard.
It's you're welcome.
How was your day?
How was your day?
It's a chain, and you got to understand you're one of 1,000 people that want to do that with me, you know. But so I put everything aside to come here. She comes or whatever. She goes out, so I said, hey, I'm about to shoot her a podcast or whatever. She's like, all right, cool, I'm just going to go out and then I'll come back or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. Went the whole day, didn't hear from her. I don't know about you guys, but when you know somebody's in your space or in your home, you kind of playing around, not doing too much so that you stick to what they're doing. And not to hear from you all day when I could have went and made other arrangements and did other things. I was livid. I was like, do you understand my life? Do you know what it takes to have what we have?
Yeah.
Or do people understand? It was times back about 5-6 years ago, I had all the time.
Oh, I had all the time.
Had all the time. But now when you working on shows, you're a writer, you're a creator, you're doing all this. We don't just got time.
No.
Right.
And for someone to disrespect that, I'm just like, all right, cool. I don't ever want to be bothered again.
So what was the
happened?
resolution?
Because
after?
it was just like I'm mentally, I can be done with you.
So the 3 days.
I did have a talk with her because I feel like I'm at the age now where sometimes people don't know what they did.
Exactly.
Right.
So you got to explain. And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intentions." But I'm like, "But I don't think you know what type of life I live, and I put that on hold for you and for you not to even contact me." And she told me that when she got here, she had family here. So my thing is, why didn't you use all of your resources?
Yeah.
Why did you come stay with me? You made it seem like you had no one here.
Right.
And me, the type of person, people that don't have nothing, and you want to chase your dreams,
you'll help.
I'm gonna help you.
But don't make it seem like you got a million other options.
But if you have, but you don't make it seem like you got options once you get here.
Right.
Then why didn't you stay with none of your other options? I'm not your family.
Yeah.
I wasn't your best friend in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even your friend in high school. You're just somebody I've been communicating with back over the years, giving advice to, trying to help, and then nothing.
Can't do that.
Yeah, so I'm realizing over the time you got to be very selective. But Heather J, all the way from Detroit, she said, "Daphnique, your problem is you want to help everybody." She said you have to vet people better. She said you're really bad at vetting people, like realizing who you should help and who you shouldn't help.
I suffer from the same.
But my father was very helpful, and I grew up around someone who would help you. Who, if you did, he knew people that didn't have a lot of money. We would knock on their door and get them fresh fish so that they would have food. So I come from that type of upbringing. Is that we really help people, and to the point is that's the reason why I hustle so hard and I want money so bad is because I grew up watching my dad help people and not get anything in return, and never getting the money. We'll do photo shoots, shoot weddings, and you don't even get the check. These people said they were going to pay us. Like, we need this money,
right?
You know what I mean? And then you're not getting the money, so now it forces me to be in. That's why I'm such in a business mode, and I'm about the bag. If it don't make money, it don't make sense to me, and I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, that.
But I'm not cold with it. But it's just that you know me. I'm always like, yo. Got some new ways to make some money.
Yeah. But that makes sense.
So I ain't come out here to be a real estate agent.
Or a teacher. And your eyes look like they watering up. Like I'm like, are they? No. Okay.
The memory that
I felt like I was feeling what you were saying about your dad. Like I was like,
I mean, because I grew up with somebody who was just never asking for the money, and that really bothered me. Like to the point where you cut everybody a deal, or you just saying it was crazy because I was a child, and it's like, yo. Nigga, we need this money right now. You making it seem like we don't need the money. So I would have to ask people for the money. Like, yo, I'm 12, like 10 and 12. Like, yo, did you have our check? What's the number? I'll call.
Always been this way. I love it.
Yo, do you have the check?
Can we please do a sketch with Daphnique as a 12-year-old? Just going around, just
asking for the money.
Being the bounty hunter or the collections agent.
I will.
That makes so much sense. Like to hear... I've always enjoyed hearing people's stories because that's how I learn who you are. That is a major key of why you are the way you are, is seeing your father do that while you were growing up. Wow, that is very
I felt like he was always too nice. And he would talk about the people when they weren't around, but he wouldn't get the money.
So passive.
Like, so now I'm passive.
So does that make him toxic?
Oh yeah, he's very
because
toxic.
This goes on to what I was saying, and what we all were saying is when you're raised a certain way, it will either make a child be that same way or be the opposite.
Right.
So and so I became the opposite.
Exactly.
But the thing about it is that although I don't allow toxic people in my life, family, friend, work, people I work with, anything. If you to me have exempt a certain type of behavior, I no longer want to be bothered with you. Unless I'm making a lot of money, then you forced to kind of work with people. But people that just say little things, we're around comments who say little hateful things.
Oh yeah.
I had a friend of mine who was my friend. I won a competition, and they was like, "Yeah, if I was there, I would have won it." And I'll never forget that.
That's not a friend
for you at all.
That's not a friend.
But a lot of people out here aren't really your friends.
And
that's the thing. My mom told me, she said, as you get older, you'll realize that you'll have less friends.
And that's the best time.
Yeah.
You know the truth. I'll give this example. B.T. Kingsley is my best comedian friend, hands down. Wow. So B.T. is my best comedian friend. The year is 2011. I believe at this time I just lost my car. Like it's a wrap on the car. I'm back to catching a bus. He gets his first Audi, right? Or Audi, however you say
I remember that Audi. What you do?
Well, first, stall him out. So he gets
That was cold.
He gets his cold out. So he gets his first Audi, and he was like, "Yo, come to the house." He comes to our house, and he's like, "Yo, come outside, come see the car." And I'm someone that when I'm going through something, I'm not trying to be around anybody. I don't want anybody to feel this energy. I'm just like, I need to get out of my funk, but it's not going to help, being around people. I know my strengths and weaknesses. So he talks to Tangerine. She's like, "Come on, we can go see BT's new car." I'm like, I'm not going outside. Like, I'm happy for him, but I need to focus on how I can get me a car. And that, for me, that was me being honest to BT. Like, listen, man, I'm happy for you. I don't want you to think that I'm not your friend and happy for what you've got. But I am in such a dark hole right now. I can't be excited for anybody. Difference is what you just said was somebody that didn't want their friends to succeed, which you are the friend who won the competition. They're like, well, if I was there, I never said to BT, "Oh man, well, I can get an Audi." Like, that's not, my mental space was just, fam, I can't see any happiness right now.
And that's understandable. I understand that. If you be like, yeah, I'm just in a place where I got to get my life together. But what I notice is that sometimes people will be your friend, but like low key jealous, hateful.
Not no low key
jealousy.
They just trying to watch your moves. You know what I mean?
They're waiting for you to fall.
Basically.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is because of how I grew up, around someone who my father, the way things were, my mother was like, "Well, if you guys were living like this, why didn't you tell me? You could have just lived with me." Like, but it was so many other great qualities about him. Like, we fished every day, and I love that. I love coming home to a parent every day. My mom worked, so it was like, and she worked weird hours, but my dad was always there to take me to the mall, to take me to do this, take me to do things. So it was like, I used to go be able to visit my cousins, and I wasn't molested and I wasn't abused or mistreated. So a lot of things, you ever heard that saying, a child will never know it's poor unless you tell it?
Yeah.
You can literally be eating beans and rice every day, and unless somebody say, "Oh, nigga, you ain't got chicken, y'all poor," you would never know that you're poor. Exactly. You're like, "Well, I eat every day. My mother hugs me and loves me. Nobody abuses me.
Right.
I'm okay."
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that, but it came a point in life where I was so smart that I was like, "Yo, something don't seem right about us not getting this money." So I've never been that type of person that didn't have a car. I've never been that type of person that didn't have at least a couple $1,000s in my bank account. Because I always had to overcompensate to make sure that I was all right, because it was like I grew up not being all right sometimes.
You also shared with me earlier that you used to sell.
I used to sell fish.
And
I used
at
to
the
hustle.
age, and how old were you?
A kid, probably like, as young as I can remember, 7. So we used to go deep sea fishing. I'm from South Florida, so we used to fish, and we used to catch snappers, groupers, all this type of fish, sand perch, ocean perch. So we would catch it, and then so my dad would never really go ask anybody for the money. Instead of giving it away from the neighbors, so I'd be like, let's drive through certain neighborhoods. And I used to go beat on doors, like in apartment complexes. So the way a lot of apartment complexes I noticed in South Florida where I'm from, it's just like one levels. And they're outdoors, so you enter, it's not like you go in a building like mine and it's floors and elevators. I don't remember seeing that. Maybe we didn't have a lot of money, but I don't remember seeing all that. We wasn't in them type of neighborhoods or whatever. But a lot of these neighborhoods, you would just go on one level. And I used to beat on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Go by and beat on everybody's door. People come outside, yell, fresh fish, fresh fish. And people would come out and they would buy the fish from us. And that's how I earned my little money. And I always been like a hustler.
So you haven't forgotten how to fish.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah, I got my fishing poles.
That is amazing.
I know how to fish.
Literally
So I can always
and
survive.
figuratively, you've always known how to fish.
Yeah.
That's that. When she told me that, I said, that is why you're the hustler you are today.
Yeah.
Because you've been making money at such a young age, independently.
And I told you I lived in California before. People don't know that. I lived here before. I went to high school here for 1 semester. My grandmother, like I said, she lived here over 20 years. So she used to have a hot dog cart. You know, a lot of the Mexican people have hot dog carts. You don't see black people with them. My grandma was a black lady with a hot dog cart in front of Kmart over there off of Imperial. And she used to sell hot dogs, and I came to visit her for 1 summer. And I ended up selling so with my grandma. She sold the hot dogs, and she set me up to go to the store and buy candy. And I used to sell candy in front of Kmart, and people would buy in Kmart. The employees, everybody, the management, everybody's really nice to us who was out there every day. And so it's crazy because this is all business models.
Yeah.
On a low level.
Yeah.
I've just been able to apply it on a higher level now, but it's still a business model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we used to have to wash the hot dog cart, dry it off, whatever, just so we go buy my kitty, my grandma, take me in there, reinvest. She'll show me how to reinvest my money, save my money. And I used to go to this little clothing store over there and buy all the baby fat. I thought I was fresh with the baby fat on. And so then this man approached me in front of Kmart, was like, hey, you want to get people to sign these petitions? So I was like, hell yeah. So I had candy in one hand, petition. I hired my little friend. I'll give him a couple of dollars and a hot dog. If he would help me get the signatures and sell the candy, he would do it every day.
Because they gave you $1 per name on the
petition.
petition.
But $1 per name. Every time you got somebody sign, I would get $1. So I would try to get like 40, 50 people to sign up a day. That was money. So then I would do that, buy clothes, hire my little friend to help me out, pay him. It was so bad that I was like, told my mom, I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm out here making so much money. Like, I want to go to school here. My mom was like, no, I think you should come home. Then I told my girl, you're going to enroll me into high school out here. Because people don't know, when I started high school, I was 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was 13, turning 14. But, so I was pretty young in high school, so I still was like a child mentality, no real abuse or fit. So everything was kept young. You know what I mean? Youthful. So I was like, yeah, Grandma, you gotta take me over to the enroll me in school. So she enrolled me. It was a horrible school. That school had ended up getting busted for prostitution ring.
Wow.
I remember seeing a boy roll weed in the back of the classroom. Weed wasn't even legal here. Yeah, it was just a disrespectful ass blood. So my mom was like, I don't want her to get, you got to come home. So then I remember my best friend, his name was Corey. I wish I could find him. He was in foster care. He was standing around. I used to go knock on his door. My grandma used to take me by his house and knock on the door. Come on, Corey, you got to sell the candy and do all these little things. And then so we went to school together. I believe we was about in the same grade. I don't know what happened at school that day, but after school, we was on the corner about to cross over there, go in front of Kmart, meet my grandma. And this boy was like, he was a gay kid. He was like, hey, Corey, you got beef with me? He had a whole bunch of braids on his finger. And Corey was like, yeah, nigga, I got beef with you. I don't know what happened during school hours because we wasn't in the same classes. So I was like, what? So when he said that, the gay boy beat his
with the
ass.
rings on.
He was bleeding. His eye had got closed. His mouth was bloody. When I tell you this boy beat his ass, I don't know. All the gay left his soul and left his body. He became a straight ass whooper at that moment. He beat my friend ass. And so when he beat his ass, so Corey gonna look at me and go say, hey, why didn't you help me? I was like, what? I said, I'm a girl. Like, you wouldn't always get her ass beat. And Corey had an attitude and he stopped coming around. So after a while, I felt that was my only friend.
Wow.
So I just was like, oh, because you know that school was plagued with like gangs and it was a violent school. It was a pretty bad school. That shit was bad. You got the kids look like Crips and Bloods and it was rough.
Dang.
So that was my only friend, and my only friend left me.
Damn.
So I went back home.
Jump in to fight a boy.
I mean, I wasn't gonna fight that nigga. He could fight. He had skills.
He was Lafayette from True Blood.
Yeah. He was handing out ass whoopings that day.
Wow.
And that was right before camera phones.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, it's just your word against his. I say you won.
I'll say, now that's a friend. I'll say
Remember back
won.
in the day before camera phones, you could lose a fight. You get your ass beat.
Yeah.
And as long as you came out unfazed.
Yeah.
Because that suspension was going to keep your ass home a couple of days. As long as you healed up.
Oh, yeah.
Before you went back to school, anybody won that fight.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't no cell phones. It was just your word against the people. You lie, you spread rumors, have your friends spread the rumors. Everybody won.
Yeah, that's a fact.
True. That's funny. Let's take you back down memory lane. Go ahead, baby.
These are so... I'm so glad that you had us on today because I had no idea a lot of these things about you. And these are things that have shaped who you are. And now...
This nigga is psychology.
I get a view into who you are. Like, this all makes sense. And now I see... Wow. That is... Wow. Wow.
Yeah, she told me this while we were shooting sketches earlier today, and I was just like, this explains so much about who you are. This little independent businesswoman who you don't need nobody to help you. You help others, but you are getting it on your own, and this is why it started at a very young age. It's amazing. Thanks for having us on to interview you.
Thank you very much. I feel like this was a long ass podcast. So we don't need to get into no hot topics today because we had Clayton Thomas. Tell them where to find you and what you got up next.
You can find me amazed at Daphnique Stories. iamclaytonthomas.com. Follow me on YouTube under the same moniker. Team Clayton Thomas on Instagram and Facebook.
And you sell the shirts.
Oh yeah, just go to the site. You can get everything that you want to know. Some new designs just dropped this week.
I'll put that on Waz.
That's funny.
Hit Waz's page from my page, or if you know Waz's joint, hit him. He's doing great things right now. Thank you so much for having me on, Daphne.
Thank you. Miss Tangerine.
And
where can they find you and what do you have up next?
You can find me on your TV screen or your mobile device on the show Family Time on the Bounce channel with an antenna, with cable, with the Brown Sugar app, with the Bounce website, wherever you can get it. Family Time. We've shot 8 seasons. Clayton is in 7 of those seasons. You'll really get a great laugh. You can find me on all social media platforms. If you know how to spell my name, it is Tanjareen. It's on the hat if you're watching. I spelled it out if you're listening. And I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I still got a Black Planet page. I'm not even kidding about that. I still know my login. And I also have shirts for sale like the one I'm wearing that says "We in this together" with Clayton and I on it. I have ones that say "I got that juice box" because that's one of my catchphrases from our sketches. And I also have panties that say "I got that juice box."
Get that juice box. You got that juice? You got that wet? You got that juice?
Apparently, Daphnique has an ocean. So yes, support teespring.com.
I don't like the brand.
But
you can get lost in these waves, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I love it.
Thank you very much for watching My Logic. I'm Daphnique Springs. Make sure you guys subscribe, download, like, hit us up on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, everything. We out there. Daphnique.